Now, this is the second question. We have C is equal to 140 plus 0.YD, okay? And Y little d is again disposable income. So disposable income is Y minus T, and you have T is equal to 200 X. And investment, 200 minus 500 R. And then you have G, government expenditure, 120, and X, that's export, 100. And M is import, 150 minus 0.1 Y. So if R is equal to 0.25 to find Y, and now you get information about money demand and money supply, okay? So here, MD divided by P is equal to L. What does that mean? It is real money demand. And then this is real money supply, okay? And you have, it is like here, and then you can find find R. And so with the first question and the second question, so you have IS and LM, and you have X, that's export, increased by 30, then what is the new investment? And the last one, the fourth one, okay, is the most difficult one, because now you want to find out what is the aggregate demand, okay? So let's get started. Y is equal to 140 plus 0.Y minus 200, okay? And then you got I, 200 minus 500 R, and G, 120, and X, 100. Okay, remember here, because what we have is X minus M, okay? So then it is 1 minus 150 plus 0.11, okay? Questions? Okay, let's try to simplify it. You have 140, 200, and then here you have 70, right? Okay, you have 70 here, and then you have 410 plus 0.8Y minus 160 minus 500R. Okay, questions? So now you have 0.2Y plus 500R is equal to 250. Questions? And if R is equal to 0.25, okay, so give us a hint. So 0.2Y plus, because R is equal, so it is 125, right? So it's easier. You don't need a calculator. So 0.2Y is equal to 125. So Y is equal to 625. Okay? Questions? Okay, and now we have LM curve here. Okay, LM curve. So then 100 is equal to, 50 minus 0.3Y. It okay.
没有加0.1嘛，所以它应该是
Oh really? I forgot the last one. Okay. So how much will be here?
0.1.
Okay, 0.1. Okay, good. Sorry. So thank you. Got to be very careful when you work on your final, right? Okay, so then, okay, so we forgot this one, okay? And so you'll be 0.1 Y, okay? And so you will be 1250. Thank you. Okay, always be careful in your calculation. And so now we get to LM, right? LM, so this is money supply, real money supply. And this is real money demand. So real money supply equal money demand. Okay? So what do you have? We have 0.3y plus 500r is equal to 50. Negative 50? What's wrong? Do I get anything wrong here? Gosh. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Here is plus. Plus. Okay. Sorry, I got this wrong. Okay. So then it will be okay, good. Anyway, sorry. Find R. Okay, how to find R? You have to get, so this is IS curve, right? Okay, this is IS curve. And this is LM curve. The only way to find out R and Y is to get IS curve and LM curve. Sorry, yeah. We get it what we call simultaneous equation. Okay, simultaneous equation. Simultaneous equation. Okay, so 5 words. The last 3 words is equation. So, Liu Jiajie, what's equation in Mandarin? Equation. What's equation in Mandarin? 3 words. For example, we say ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. What we call this? It's an equation, right? 3 words in Mandarin. Yes, exactly. So what's the simultaneous equation? No. 2 words. Because now you have 2 equations. This one is and this one L. Exactly. Okay, good. Okay, so then let's try 0.1y. Sorry, it's here. Okay, sorry. The IS curve is here. Okay, plus 500r is equal to 250. Okay, so then what you have? So this one, you're going to be very grateful to the professor, right? It's easier to calculate. Okay, much easier than the other one. The other one is a mess. Okay, 0.3y is equal to 300, right? So how much is y? 50, is that right? Okay, 750. Okay, then what is r? Okay, so you find here to plug in back here, right? So 0.1 times 750 plus 500r is equal to 250, right? And so 500r is equal to 250, okay, minus 75, right? So 5, okay, 7, 1, okay, so what is R? R is equal to 0.35, okay? So for the second question, okay, so R is equal to 0.35, okay? Questions? Okay, we still need these 2, so we keep them there, okay? Okay. If x increases by 30, okay, what will happen? So as you know, this IS curve derives from C plus I plus G plus X minus M, right? And so here, if X bar increased by 30, okay, X bar increased by 30 means on the right hand side, it increased by 30, okay? So you don't have to really go through the things again. You just add, this is new IS curve, right? 0.1y plus, 500R is equal to 280. Okay, questions? Because I say C plus I plus G plus X minus M is on the right hand side, right? And it said X increases by 30, so that's the right hand side increases by 30. So the original one is 0.y plus 500R is equal to 280, right? And so if the right hand side increased by 30, you just add 30 to that question, and then you get it. Okay? Okay, so this is still LM curve, okay? And so find I, okay, you need to find I, so then again, 0.1y plus 500R is equal to 280, right? So 0.4y is equal to 330, okay? So y will be equal to 825, okay? And then you plug in back to here to find out what's the interest rate, okay? Here. So 0.1 times 825 plus 500R is equal to 250. So 500R is equal to, 250, 82.5. So you have 0.576, okay? So how much is R? R is equal to 0.335, okay? Questions? So you plug it back here, and then you try to figure out what is R, what is investment. So investment is here, okay? So I is equal to 200 minus 500R is equal to 200, okay, minus 500 times 0.335, okay? So how much is that? That is actually 200 minus 167 plus 5. So actually it's here, right? Actually it's here. So then it is equal to 32.5. Okay, 32.5. Okay, questions? So you got to be very grateful to this professor, right? His calculation is much easier. The other one, oh gosh, is a mess. You have to use calculator, and even after you use calculator, you don't get the right number. Anyway. Okay, questions? So the last one, that's the most difficult one. Okay, we're gonna deal with it. Okay, questions? Okay, and I'm going to erase the part that we don't need to use. Okay. Anyone want to take a picture? No? Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So you have L, okay? Be careful here. You have real money demand is equal to L, right? And money supply is equal to 100, okay? And so you have L is equal to 500 plus 0.3 plus this, okay? So this is still LM curve. Okay, you have a new LM curve, but the IS curve is still here. So let me erase this one. Okay, you have 0.1 y plus 500 r is equal to 250. Okay, this is still the, of course you can use this one, but I would say this one is just fine, okay? There's not much difference. Okay, so then, this is L, right? Real money demand, 50 plus 0.3y minus 500r is equal to, okay, what should we put down here? So actually, this one is real money demand, right? This one is real money demand. So you have to have real money demand is equal to real money supply, okay? Real money demand equal real money supply. And here, okay, it is real money demand. So now on the right hand side, okay, on the right hand side, what you need? You need to have real money supply, okay? So what is that? It is 100 over P. So this is the trick. If you know the trick, everything is fine, okay? Okay, and now, how are we going to deal with it? If you look at these two equations, this is IS curve, this is LM curve, okay? But remember, if you're going to get aggregate demand, okay? If you're going to get aggregate demand, what happened? You have to have Y, you have to have P, okay? For IS-LM model, you have Y and R, right? For LM model, IS-LM model, you have Y and R. But for aggregate demand, you have Y and P. So what you need to do now is get rid of R, okay? What you need to do now is to get rid of R. And again, you want to be grateful to this professor, right? How to get rid of R? It's so easy, right? Here you have 500R, you have negative 500R, you add them together, R is gone. Okay, and so what you have? So you have 0.4y plus 50 is equal to 250 plus P, 100 over P. Okay, question. So now what you have? You have Y and you have P. So this is aggregate demand curve. But you need to simplify it a little bit, okay? So then what you have? You have, so, I mean, depending on how you're going to work it out. So we can say 100 over P is equal to 0.4y minus 200. So this one is aggregate demand curve. Okay? Get it? So the trick is for IS-LM, you have Y and R, okay? But for aggregate demand, you have Y and P. So what you need to do, you need to get rid of R, okay? You need to get rid of R. And in this case, even though it's much simpler because you add them together, then you get R gone, right? But even if it is not the case, what you need to try to do is the same thing, to get R off the chart, of this equation. And so you have P here, and you have Y here. Okay? Questions? Okay, so let me erase it. We're gonna deal this one, okay? Okay, so we have, if you look at this question, it's a little bit different from that one, okay? In this case, it emphasized a little bit on real money demand, okay? But here, there's nothing, okay? If it doesn't say anything, it means it should be money, real money demand and real money supply. And what is T? Transaction demand, okay? T, transaction demand. What's S? Speculative demand, okay? So if you're gonna find R, then, and also it's much easier, you only C and I, right? No G, no XM, whatever, okay. So Y is equal to C plus I, right? And that is equal to, and no, there's no YD, right? You have disposable income, but because there's no tax, no government expenditure, okay? So you have Y, okay, A50 plus 0.75Y and plus 950 minus 50R, okay? Questions? And so then we have 0.25Y plus 50R is equal to 1800, okay? So sounds like this one is easier, okay? Okay, but then you have to have, you have ice curve, and now you need to have LM curve. So 0.2Y plus 150 minus 50R is equal to 600, okay? So what do you have? You have 0.2Y minus 50R is equal to 450. Okay, so this is LM. Okay, questions? Okay, and you have ice, you have LM, you have two equations, simultaneous equation, and then we can deal with it. So the same thing, you're going to be grateful to this professor, right? If you add this and this, R is gone. So 45Y is equal to 2250. Okay, so how much is Y? How much is it? Anyway, how much is that? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, and you got this, then it should be easy to get this one, right? So 0.2 times 5,000 minus 50R is equal to 450, right? So 50R is equal to, 1,000 minus 450. So that is 550. So R is equal to 11, okay? So find R, okay, 11. Get it? Questions? You question? No. So Y is equal to 5,000, R is equal to 11. Okay. Okay, the second question is, if I goes down by 450, okay, try to find Y, okay? If I goes down by 550, as you know, C plus I, right, is on the right-hand side. And if this right-hand side goes down by 450, that means, okay, this one gonna go down by 450. So 0.25Y plus 50R is equal to 450, right? Okay? And then you have 0.2Y plus 50R, LM curve doesn't change, right? This one doesn't change. So let's find Y. Again, plus add them together. 0.5Y is equal to A 1800. Okay? So Y is equal to, how much is it?
4,000.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then let us try R, right? Do we need to find R? No, forget about R, okay? Okay, now the question is, how much MS, money supply, has to go up to get back to the original income level? So the original income level, Y is equal to 5,000, right? Okay, this is the original income level, 5,000. And because investment goes down, so because investment goes down, so now the income level, of course, goes down. And so what does that mean? That means the question asks you, if you are the central banker, right? If you are the central banker, you want to get economy back to original income level, production level, and also, employment level. What you need to do? Of course, in this case, you need to increase money supply, right? You have to increase money supply. So now, okay, this will be the new IS curve. 0.25y, okay, plus 50r is equal to 1350. Okay, this is the IS curve with investment going down by 450. Okay, and now this is the LM curve. Okay, 0.2y minus 50r is equal to 450 plus x. Okay, what is x? X is the money supply you have to increase. Okay, x is the money supply you have to increase. And so that's the question for you, right? And so we want to find out what is this. Okay, so again, it's quite easy, right? As I said, you need to be grateful to the professor. You don't need to worry much about R. So then here you have 0.451 is equal to 1,800 plus x. Okay, it sounds like you only have one equation, but you have two variables. But the answer is no. Okay, why? Because the question asks you, you need to get back to the original income level. So you know y. Y is 500. 5,000. So 5,000 times 0.45 is equal to 1,800 plus x. Okay? And this is 2250 plus 1,800 plus x. So x is actually equal to 450. Okay? Questions? So anyway, it's not that difficult, okay, in terms of algebra. But sometimes, of course, it really depends on the professor. If you get something like this or something like this, it's easy to calculate. But if you have the other question, oh gosh, you have to use calculator, and it's very tedious. But okay, if you have something like this, it is just fine. Questions? Okay. Now we want to get back to the 4 diagrams that we left over last time. Okay. Questions? If no question, we're gonna erase it. I think I'll just erase this part. Okay, let us get the diagrams here. We have Y, we have R, okay, IS curve, LM curve, and then you have Y, R, LM curve, IS curve. Here again, Y, R, IS curve, LM curve, Y, R, okay, so what's going on here? So we have four situations, okay? And for this four situation, you're gonna know when will monetary policy has an impact and when fiscal policy have an impact. For the top two, okay, for the top two, monetary policy does not work. Okay, for the top two, monetary policy does not work. For the bottom two, okay, fiscal policy does not work. Okay, this one is easy. This is the liquidity trap. Okay, when there's a liquidity trap, LM curve is flat. Okay, and in this case, which policy works? Because if you move IS curve, okay, if you move IS curve, as I say, right? In this case, ISLM model and Keynesian model predicts the same multiplier effect because increase in government spending will not impact interest level, okay, will not impact interest rate. So in this case, ISLM model and Keynesian model predicts the same multiplier effect, okay? And what about this one? You know, usually, if you put it yourself into certain perspective, okay? Let us say, if you are the central banker and you wanna change money supply, okay? And trying this to affect the economy, okay? And see what you get. So for example, in this case, right? You wanna increase money supply or decrease money supply? Here or here, okay? Can you change income level? Can you change production level? The answer is no, right? So in this case, if you increase or or decrease money supply, income will not change. So in this case, monetary policy does not work. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, the same thing. You want to increase government expenditure or consumption or whatever, right? Okay. Then IS curve shift to the right or shift to the left. Okay. What happened? Income doesn't change, right? Income doesn't change. So fiscal policy does not work. Okay, fiscal policy does not work. These two are easier, okay? And this one is easy also, right? Because it is liquidity trap. And what about this one? The same thing. You want to increase income, okay? Increase production. What you do, okay? You simply, okay, change money supply, and then you can get what you want. Because in this case, it perfectly, okay, moves there, okay? So what does that mean? That means fiscal policy does not work. So it turns out that we have four diagrams, but it's kind of easy to figure that out. Okay, so what is the rationale? What's the reason? Here, the money demand, okay, the elasticity of money demand to interest rate is infinite. Okay, the money demand with respect, elasticity of money demand with respect to interest rate is infinite. It means it is liquidity trap, okay? And so what does that mean? Every dollar increase in money supply will be in your pocket. You will not get out to the bond market. So in this case, okay, you want to increase money supply to affect the economy, but people will keep the money in their pocket, so it does not work. And what about here? Usually, when we have monetary policy, we want to use money supply to affect interest rate, okay? And then interest rate, so money supply changes to interest rate, and then interest rate will affect investment, okay? But in this case, what does that mean? That means investment is not responsive to interest rate, okay? What you want to do, monetary policy, interest rate, and interest rate to investment. But here, if I-curve is vertical, okay, very steep, what does that mean? That means investment is not affected by interest rate changes, okay? So basically, that is the idea here, okay? So the higher the elasticity of money demand to interest rate, monetary policy does not work. If investment is not responsive to interest rate, monetary policy does not work either. And so this is the opposite case. So if I were you, I'll just remember these two cases, and these two are the opposite. Okay? Questions? Let's take a break.